to show you what to do to be prepared for the worst if your indoor waterfall pump fails or is broken. I have learned this from Richard from the United Kingdom, who has built a giant indoor waterfall recently. And when we did the planning, we talked about what happens if the pump gets broken or fails. Then the indoor waterfall will stop and the customer will be frustrated. And a few minutes ago I talked with another partner here in Germany who has also built an indoor waterfall for a restaurant, and they had some problems with the water supply because they have put hot water into the reverse osmosis, which of course doesn't work. So it means that the waterfall didn't work for a couple of days until the service guy could come to fix that. And turns out that the customer was pretty, sad because the indoor waterfall didn't run. That's the other side of the amazing indoor waterfall business. You have a very beautiful waterfall, but if it's not working, your customer is going to be sad and he's going to put pressure on it. So be prepared for the worst case. And Richard from the UK, he has developed a very smart solution which I will use with high-end customers in the future too, which is putting in a second backup pump into your system, so that if the first pump fails, which by the way can happen, such pumps don't live forever. They have maybe 2 years lifespan, some have 8 years lifespan, but some also have only a couple of weeks or months lifespan if something is not right installed, or if they simply have a production failure. And then it's good to have a backup pump, because then your customer doesn't have to live with a dry waterfall. And I have showed you here in this scheme. It means that if you have a water treatment in the basement, just as an example here, you would have two pumps. One pump would be the main pump, and it would supply the waterfall with the water. If this pump fails, then your customer just needs to close this valve and turn on the second backup pump, and the waterfall will still run and it is not offline. So I highly recommend this if you have a very high-end customer where your indoor waterfall should always run, to install a backup pump. And I also recommend that when you do the planning, that you make your main pump accessible, because also what sometimes happens, that if you build a lot of stuff around your pump, it's going to be hard to change the pump if the pump is broken. And it happens. Even if you take the best pumps on the world, they can get broken. And that's why it's important, number one, to have a backup pump already installed in the system, so that you don't have to go there and change the pump. And number two, if you don't have a backup pump, make the changing of the pump as easy as possible, maybe even so that your customer can change it by yourself and you don't have to do it. So I hope that helps. And if you need some planning for your indoor waterfall, please contact me. I would be glad to support you. I think planning is the most important thing when it comes to an indoor waterfall project. If you have a good planning, then the whole execution is going to be relaxed and joyful. If you have a bad planning, you will suffer frustration, and we can avoid that. So please contact me if you have